Okay, Team Impact, we are moving on to lesson 2. So if you're watching this at home, um, I hope you're doing okay. But today we're going to talk about area of triangles and the area of trapezoids. When we take a look at this, we have two separate two separate formulas that we're going to have to know. And I'll go ahead and preface this by saying for the area of a triangle, we're going to take area equals 1/2 the base times the height. If we look at a triangle, it's really half of a rectangle, okay? And I've covered that up. So if I cut this in half, you'd see you'd have two rectangles. So that's why we take 1/2 the base and the height. The base and the height are always going to be perpendicular to each other, okay? This one's not too bad. The other one for a trapezoid is a little bit different. Okay, and a trapezoid has, by definition, one set of parallel sides, and we'll get into that on the back side here. Okay, all right, but this formula is area equals 1/2 the height of base 1 plus base 2. So just a little bit different. Certainly a formula that's a little bit more involved. Okay. So, so let's take a look at these two figures here. What do they have in common? Well, what they have in common is they have the same dimensions. Okay. All right. They have the same base and the height, the same base and the height. What's the difference? Well, it's just the triangle, all right, is half of the rectangle. I guess of the rectangle. Okay. So, if the formula for finding the area of a rectangle is this, how can you describe the formula of that? Well, the formula is going to be 1/2 the base times the height. So we're going to take half of the base times the height. You could take half a lot of different ways. If I was looking for the area of this, I could take 8 times 9, get 72 and divide that by 2 and get 36. I could take half of 8 and get 4. 9 times 4 is 36. So the commutative property would come into play. So you could do it a lot of different ways, or you could just plug this into your calculator and you would be in good shape. Okay. Okay. So what is the area of the rectangle? Well, 8 times 9 is, all right, so the rectangle 8 times 9 is 72 centimeters square. And then the triangle is, half of that is 4. 4 times 9 is 36 centimeters square. So when we look at that, we can do a lot of mental math there. And that's what I would expect and hope that you would do there. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here. Formula. Okay. Write it down, please. Area is 1/2 the base times the height. We're going to plug in our values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to count that even though it's not a full because the half will take care of that. So it's going to be 1/2 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times the height. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to count that one, right? And you can, again, do it a lot of different ways. But 5 times 7 is 35. Half of 35 is 17.5. There is no label, so we're going to call that units square. Okay? Very important that you know that. Area is 1/2 the base times the height. Again, all that means to multiply. The base is, 3.5 here to here. And remember, the base and the height are perpendicular, so we're going to multiply that by 2. Okay, and really, if you take half of 2 and you get 1, 1 times 3.5 is 3.5 meters square. You can plug that into your calculator, but again, just some mental math will take care of that for you. Okay, next one. Area is 1/2 the base times the height. The base is 14 times the height of 16, right? We can 14 times 16 divided by 2. When the numbers get a little bit bigger, it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. But, all right, half of 14 is 7. 7 times 16 is 112 inches square. Okay? Always square units when we talk about area. Our formula is written down. We plug in our numbers. Should not be an issue there. Okay, let's go ahead and flip the page. Take a look at the next side. Excuse me. So on the next page, we're going to primarily talk about our trapezoids. And when we talk about a trapezoid, all right, I've discussed the formula, but let's just talk about what it is. A trapezoid, by definition, has one set of parallel sides. The height is always perpendicular to the bases. So when we talk about this trapezoid, okay, we have area is 1/2 the height, so 1/2 of the height, and in parentheses, base 1 plus base 2. So we're going to add those two up. And if we put that into our calculator, we have to do it that way, okay? So this was kind of a different trapezoid. This is more of a table. This is more of a tabletop. This is more of an oblong one. But again, by definition, trapezoid has one set of parallel sides. The same formula will work over here. Area equals 1/2 the height, base 1, which is 13, plus base 2, which is 10. Now, some people would ask, can I interchange that? Sure, it doesn't matter what numbers you put in where, as long as you put the numbers in, okay? All right, let's define this thing. A trapezoid is one or two triangles and a rectangle. See, there's one triangle and a rectangle, or two triangles and a rectangle. To find the area, use the formula of area equals 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2. If you write it, you'll remember it. Okay? So B1 is the what? It's the length of the first base. Right? Base 2 is the length of the second base. And H, of course, is going to be our height. and our height is always perpendicular to the base. Okay? So we've defined this. Again, one rectangle, two triangles, one rectangle, one triangle is a trapezoid. Good formula here, good math. Let's roll. First up, let's write our formula. Area equals 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2, 1/2 times the height of 4. Base 1 is 13, base 2 is 7. Okay, now I would use a calculator here. You could distribute, you could say 1/2 of 4 is 2, 2 times 20 is 40. That's up to you, but I would probably use a calculator just to get used to that. It's in square units. Area is 40 inches square. Number 2, use the formula to find the area. What formula? Area is 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2. Okay. Plug in your values. So we know 1/2 is constant, which means it doesn't change. The height is 3.2. There it is. Base 1 I'm going to call 5, and base 2 I'm going to call 9. Again, these don't matter what order you put it in. I did that on purpose to switch them up. Plug all that into your calculator, and you're going to get 22 4/10 meters square. Okay. And again, make sure you label it in square units. Okay. All right, let's continue to roll here. Betsy has calculated the area of the figure below is 52 centimeters square. Determine if she is correct or incorrect. Okay, well, let's see. 1/2 times the height, 4. Base 1 is 5, plus base 2 is 8. Well, these are all whole numbers. Let's see if we can do this mentally. 1/2 of 4 is 2. Okay, 5 and 8, excuse me, is 13. Okay, so 13 times 2 is 26, not 52. So the area of this is 26 centimeters square. What happened? Well, Betsy forgot to take half of the height, because 4 times 13 is 52, but we've got to take half of that. So don't forget that important piece of information. Last one. The trapezoid below has an area of 192. What is the height of the trapezoid? Okay, good stuff here. We get to work backwards. Anytime I work backwards, I start with the formula. Area is 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2. And what I do is I plug in what I know under each letter. So under the A is 192. I got that right there. That's the area. 1/2 is constant. I'm looking for the height. So that's the question mark. So we're going to leave that as a variable. And then I'm just going to plug in my two bases, 18 plus 14. Okay. So we have to work backwards. We have an equation, and actually it's a multi-step equation. So what we're going to do is simplify this whole side. We're going to combine it, 18 and 14, and then take half of that. Okay, and I'm going to grab my calculator here if I can find it. Let me grab one out of here, and let's go. And let's kind of do this one together because this is a little bit different, sure. Okay, let me turn the light on. Maybe it will help you there. All right, so let's take 18 plus 14, and I get 32. Now I need to multiply that because there's a parenthesis by a half times 0.5, which is a half, and I end up with 16. So 192 equals 16 what? What we're looking for is H. So I bring that down. How did I get the 16? I added these two up, and then I divided it by 2 or multiplied it by 0.5 or a half, whatever works. Now we have a one-step equation, which we're going to divide both sides by 16. So if I take 192 and divide it by 16, I end up with 12. 12 what? 12 inches, because this is not area, it's a vertical distance, it's linear. All right, so that means that it's in just basic units of inches. Okay, so I hope all that made sense. This is important. This is probably the toughest part of the lesson, working backwards. All right, and you'll probably have to do that in the homework. If you flip the page, you'll see your homework. You'll be plugging it in. You have 8 problems. Fill in and make a nice little a saying down there. So, okay, guys, take care. Have a good day.